Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a video, like I'm laughing already because there's so much stuff. We have a video packed full of news, rumors, leaks, updates. I have all the news you could possibly want to talk about in this video, but there's also something missing, so we got to talk about that as well. Let's go and get right into it. Yeah, I've probably got I'm not even kidding, 20 messages like, hey, are you going to talk about this? Did you see this happen? Are you going to talk about that? Come on, baby. You know I'm going to get to it when I get to it. You just got to give me time. This video, it's packed full of stuff. But like I said earlier, there's something missing. And it's like, what the hell is going on? So hopefully Nintendo says something sooner than later. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And let's just go ahead and get right into it. So quickly, I want to address some news that is not like Nintendo related, but it will have a trickle-down effect on Nintendo, and that is the PlayStation and Xbox news that has happened in the past couple of days, which is just so crazy, right? So first, we got to talk about Bluepoint shutting down. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm the biggest Sony fan, even though I play my PS5 almost every day, and I love what they do. I'm not so in tune to what's going on. But even I knew Bluepoint was very important, right? They made some of the best remakes of all time, and you would just think, this is something that needs to exist forever. But they shut down. And the whole reason why, the CEO had a message leak out saying that, things are changing, slowed industry growth, broader economic headwinds. And then he lists games that are doing good, like MLB The Show and people spending money on Helldivers. Essentially, you can tell that Sony just cares about making a live service game that can make money indefinitely, and it's really such a shame to see this happen. But before we could even all process that, 24 hours later, we get a huge announcement that Phil Spencer is retiring from Xbox amid leadership shuffle, and then I think Sarah Bond is stepping down as well. This is kind of crazy. As much shit as we all give Xbox, they're still cool to me, right? They make great games. I enjoy the consoles. Lately, it seems like they don't have any real direction and they just want to get their games wherever they can. But the fact that Phil Spencer, somebody who I actively don't like, but I respect for them being at Xbox for multiple decades, is stepping down. Sarah Bond is gone. And then a lady named Asha Sharma is stepping in, who was the head of the AI department at Microsoft. This does not bode well for the future. So yeah, this PlayStation news and Xbox news, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not just saying it to say it. I think this will eventually have a trickle-down effect to Nintendo, because Xbox seems like it's almost going to be dead one day. PlayStation has no idea what the hell they're doing. Nintendo seems to be the only company left that has a real identity. You know what you're getting there, you know they're set in their ways, and you don't have to worry about them not existing or games not coming out. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about those updates quickly. So if you've been watching my channel pretty much any period of time, you will know one of my favorite games of all time is Nier Automata, or Nier Automata, whatever. I'm going to say Automata because it sounds cooler. It's one of those games that's whoa. That's all you think when you're playing it. Whoa, what is going on here? And then you finish it and start a new playthrough, but it's a new story. Then you go, whoa, what's going on there? Ah, man, it's so good. I need to replay it very soon. But I've always wondered what is going on with the future of this game. I don't know how good it sold. I think a couple million copies, or 5 million copies, something pretty good. But 2B as a character has transcended all of this. It is the ultimate gooner character. That's not why I like the game, although I'm not opposed to the character design. What am I even talking about anymore, man? I'm trying to say we got an update about the future of Nier from Square Enix, and it's very promising. So during a 9th anniversary livestream for Nier Automata, Square Enix confirmed that the franchise is set to continue in some form, basically hinting at a future game. And this is just awesome. Oh, I'm actually reading right here. It actually says the game surpassed 10 million copies sold. And then it says Nier Automata to be continued. Yeah, this is going to be freaking awesome. Hopefully this is coming out very soon, or if not soon, at least we get a next generation update for these games. Yeah, they work perfectly fine, but a Switch 2 edition with better frame rates and just better optimization, maybe some new textures or something, it would be incredible. If you've never played these games and you're on the fence about it or think it might not be for you, I'm telling you, this is a life-changing game that will have you reflecting on what the hell's going on. And I know it sounds like I'm being crazy, but just play the game if you get a chance. So before we get into some other bigger updates and leaks, There was a new Super Mario trailer or poster or something. I'll be honest, I'm not really keeping up with all the stuff coming out. I just want to watch a movie when it comes out. And normally when this happens, people will look for every kind of detail and be like, whoa, did they leak this? Are they hinting at that? 9 times out of 10, I just don't buy it. This time though, I think I'm on the side of this might be true. And when you go look at comments or people talking about what I'm about to show you, people are like, oh, you're reaching. Nintendo fans making up anything. But I just don't think that's the case. I think this is actually true. So I'm pretty sure this is from a new trailer. But there's a brief frame, and I'm talking about like half a second or a second, where you see a character in the top left. And at first you might not think anything of it. But somebody pointed out that that looks like Star Fox or Fox McCloud. And I gotta say, man, 9 times out of 10, none of this stuff is true. But this looks like a 1-to-1 replica. Like that looks like Fox McCloud. That looks like the uniform, the gun, the boots, the everything. So does that mean Star Fox or Fox McCloud, whatever, is going to show up in the next Mario movie? And if this is true, I could see us getting a new Star Fox game this year. Like, could you imagine seeing Fox McCloud in the movie and then thinking, whoa, we need a new Star Fox game? And then Nintendo a couple weeks later is like, hey, there is a new Star Fox game. Or maybe they show it off at the next Nintendo Direct, whatever. I just think this is actually something true for once. So now let's get into some of the bigger updates. One of them I'm just going to touch on briefly because I have not played it, like the Switch 2 version yet, but Xenoblade Chronicles X got a Switch 2 edition, and I have this game brand new sealed right here. I asked for it for Christmas on the whole pretense that it would get a Switch 2 edition. And I will say this, I had a theory that actually came true. I had a theory, and I've said it in a couple videos, that every game that released on the Switch, like first party for Nintendo, the beginning of 2025, it was so close to the Switch 2 coming out, I felt like all of those games would get Switch 2 editions or Switch 2 upgrades. We've seen it happen with Donkey Kong Country HD Returns, or too many words in the title, but we've seen it with Donkey Kong. So as soon as that happened, I said in videos, I bet Xenoblade Chronicles X gets one very soon. And then that happened. So it was pretty cool to have that theory and to see it come true. My whole opinion on this though is I think this should have been a free Switch 2 upgrade because they didn't really do much. I'm looking at it right here. It says smoother frame rate, playing 4K, and that's all it says, right? It's not that expensive, it's $5. So all things considered, if you're gonna have to pay for this, at least it's only $5. The only argument I can make in their favor is maybe because this game is so massive, and I've seen a couple like screenshots where it looks like they change the textures, and sometimes they won't even mention that. So maybe some actual work went into this. So $5, it is what it is, right? Now the other massive update we got is Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red is coming to the Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. And one, you can actually buy it. Right away, I think that's cool. A lot of people are thinking these should just come to Nintendo Switch Online, right? And while I could hear your argument and see where you're coming from, these are games that I would much rather just own. I don't want to have to pay for a subscription indefinitely to have access to these games. But if you already have the subscription and you don't want to pay $20, fair argument, right? And I know what I'm about to say is not going to be popular, and I'm ready for you guys to flame me and rise up, but I got to stay true to what I believe. I think, all things considered, $20 for a Pokemon game in 2026 is 100% fair. Yes, these games are decades old, and there's a million other ways to play them. For instance, I can play these games right here on this emulator console. I can play them on this DS right here with this little emulator chip that I have. I can also play them on this Game Boy Advance SP with a little like ROM hack thing I have. I can play them all those ways right there. I still think $20 is not bad. And for me, I just put it into perspective. Whenever I take my daughters to the gas station, right? We just go to the gas station to get something to drink. I'm spending like $30 at the gas station. And by the time we get home, whatever I bought, it doesn't even exist anymore. So I could go to the gas station and waste money, or I could get a Pokemon game and own it forever. I would just say it's all fair. Now it was peculiar, right? Because these things were rumored and we thought they would get shown off at Pokemon Day during the Pokemon Presents. And I think that might have been the original plan because I was actually up when these things popped up at like 3 a.m. It seems like they were uploaded like a week early by mistake. Because as soon as they were uploaded, the Pokemon company put out like tweets and posts everywhere like 20 minutes later, like, hey, you can play these games. And then a couple minutes later, they talked about the Pokemon Presents and the actual day and the runtime. So it seems like a mistake. It is what it is. But seeing these come out early, whether it was a mistake or like on purpose, I think that means we're definitely seeing Generation 10 during this Pokemon Presents. And I have a leak for that, and it's a very promising leak. So this account is called Eclipse, whatever, you can see it right here. They break down all these Pokemon leaks, like the Terra leaks and all those other crazy leaks, and all this stuff is 100% factual. This isn't like rumors. So from the leaks they were looking at, it says we will be getting an in-game trailer for Winds and Waves, and that's actually surprising. They were thinking it was going to be a CGI scene, and I actually thought the same thing. I thought they were going to say the title, maybe show a couple of Pokemon, do some weird kind of like artistic trailer, and say maybe a release date, right? Probably November, but seeing actual in-game footage is very important. One, because we're going to see the quality of the game. And two, we have to remember this is going to be the first Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon game. So any excuses we had before are immediately thrown out the window, right? Like one argument you've heard before, which makes no sense. Oh, the Switch couldn't handle Pokemon games, which is one of the dumbest of dumbass arguments I've ever heard, but sure, I'll give you that. Number two, they didn't have enough time to make the game. Again, that's thrown out the window. They've been working on this one for years. A couple other things I don't want to get into right now because they're not irrelevant, but they've had the time, they have the money, they have the power of the Switch 2. Yeah, any excuses, we're just not buying them this time around. So a lot is riding on this. And the day I'm recording this video is February 21st. Yeah, this is an important day for a couple of reasons. One, it's exactly 1 week before my birthday. I mean, we can just end the video there, right? Two, it's the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. And Nintendo has been silent. They've said absolutely nothing, not even a Twitter post. Now, they did technically mention it one way. I guess on the Nintendo Today app, they made like a little NES Link animation, and that was it. They didn't even say anything, didn't even put The Legend of Zelda anniversary, nothing, just made the animation. I think they're going to announce something this week. I just think Nintendo has had absolutely no news for direct, new first party stuff, Zelda, anything. So I could see a random Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, just getting an announcement. Maybe a Zelda presentation. There's that rumored General Direct happening the first week of March. Maybe they'll wait until then. I just feel like with the Zelda movie coming out in exactly 1 year, this isn't one of those times where you'll wait to promote Zelda, maybe during the summer or later on. With a Mario movie, every person on this earth knows who Mario is. Even your grandma probably knows who Mario is. A lot of people do not know The Legend of Zelda. And if you pointed to Link, they would probably say Link's name is Zelda. So you need to get other people interested in this. You need to promote The Legend of Zelda as much as possible. And how do you do that? Well, with the 40th anniversary of one of the greatest franchises of all time. You start promoting now. Then you build it up a little bit. Then in 2 weeks you say something else. Then a couple months you get a new game. Then maybe at the end of the year you get a remake. Then you get a spin-off. Then you get the Zelda movie. Then maybe you get Zelda themed Switch 2 Joy-Cons or something. But you gotta say something about the 40th anniversary. The Legend of Zelda is my favorite franchise of all time. I'm about to turn 34 in 1 week, and it's crazy that my entire life, The Legend of Zelda has always existed. Kind of crazy to think about. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, hit a like and subscribe. I'm trying to hurry up. My SD card is running out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That'd be cool. Consider becoming a channel member. That would be coolier. Maybe an early birthday present. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.